Hello everyone and welcome to today's Banter Blitz with Anna aka Miss Strategy. Apologies for the slight delay, I have had some technical issues as usual, why not? But today I'm lacking one of my computer screens, so I will be relying on an iPad for reading the chat. Please let me know if you can hear and see everything clearly, and then we shall start with the games. I don't even know if this is working properly since I don't have my other screen to monitor the stream, so please let me know in the chat because that's the only way I can know that we are doing fine. Hello everyone, hi Benjamin, hi Perpetual, Stalemate, hello Shwa, hello there Henker. I'm not able to read out all the usernames, but I really welcome everyone in today's session, which is a bit earlier than usual since today is, of course, Sinkfield Cup, and that's what you should be watching after my stream a few hours after. Who are you rooting for, by the way, and who do you think will win? Let me know in the chat and also in the comments on YouTube. Works fine. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we shall start playing because I promised you last week that the Banter Blitz on Chess24 will be about chess, a lot of chess, and not so much chit chat as I'm used to on Twitch. Also on Twitch I do Pictionary. That is, I believe, something worth watching or not. First I should abort the game with Claudia. I always forget that poor Claudia can never get a game in. And then I shall begin with today's challenges. Oh no, I clicked on one without increment. Please, please challenge me with increment. I'm sorry, I need to abort this because it's my new rule. Selon, I will accept your challenge once you challenge me again with increment. Please, I want to be as instructive as possible. I need time to explain my thought process. So I need the challenges to be with increment. You can go for rated games. I don't mind my rating, but I do need increment. So please, everyone, challenge me with increment. And so far I don't see any because it takes some time between the stream when I say it and when it's online. So there's a delay between what you see and what I'm doing. But once it gets through, there we go. Now I see your challenges with increment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and now they disappeared. Chess24 playing a joke with me at the moment. Where are the challenges? I've just seen them. Benjamin, I'm accepting your challenge first. Benjamin was my first subscriber on Twitch and he has been supporting my channel ever since. So I'm very thankful to you, Benjamin. You should know that. And also about the famous hair comments about the Bill Chess Festival and whether it was Mr. Daniel King or me who had a better hair day. And usually the answer was Danny. But ever since Benjamin tweeted that, every single day Danny and I started, before we went live, we were like, how's the hair? Are we good? Is it a good hair day? So it was our ongoing comment about your tweet, Benjamin, basically. The position. As I promised, I should talk about chess. This is the Sicilian, as you can see, and I'm playing this variation with the bishop c4 line, which is solid. I don't say it's like much, but it's quite comfortable. I can castle quickly and see how black develops. Now, the bishop on c4 is usually attacked, so I need to create a plan for this bishop to be placed either on b3 or on a2. And often black will also want to play a6, b5, attack it that way, or queen c7, and then the queen will be attacking my bishop on the c5. So in any case, I need some plan in the future for that bishop not to be under attack. And I think I will start it right ahead by first of all developing this bishop to e3, and later either playing bishop b3 or a4, bishop a2. The two options as I mentioned. For now my bishop is still safe, so I'm gonna go f4 first, which is a very usual move in this setup. You wanna gain more space, control the center, and in the future, if I can, I will attack either with e5 or f5. In some positions even g4, g5. Depends. Everything depends on the position in chess. There's no general rule that you can always apply. You need to look out for the exact details in every single position. So it's good to know some general plans, like I said, a6, b5. Still b5 is not a threat because the knight on c6 would be hanging, but after queen c7, he will both threaten b5 and knight takes d4. So I should be ready for placing my bishop somewhere else. And after queen c7, I want my bishop back on a2 probably, so that it's not hanging. well, it steps into knight b4, but then I can go bishop b3. So it's either bishop b3 allowing knight a5 or bishop a2 allowing knight b4. I cannot prevent both. But once the knight jumps to b4 or a5, I can then move the bishop to the other square and keep it alive. He did not play queen c7. Bishop d7 is a good move. If next move, knight takes d4, for instance, bishop takes, bishop c6, he wants to place his bishop on the long diagonal with this maneuver. Now this is a 3+2, I think, 3 minute plus 2 second game, so I should play faster than what I'm actually producing at the moment. Queen to e2 or queen to f3, both look natural to me. I'm going to go for queen to e2. And once again, I'm just trying to connect my rooks, develop both rooks. The rook on f1 is okay. I'm always trying to draw arrows, so if I click it's because I'm trying to draw the f file. So I might leave the rook on f1, the other rook can come to d1, or I keep it on the a file if I need to protect the a4 pawn. Knight a5, I'm going back to a2. As I said, I want to keep the bishop alive. If he doesn't do anything, I might just go b4, but I believe he is going to bring the rook or the queen to the c file. He did not do that, so now I'm calculating b4. I feel like that should be a good move because I'm gaining space with it. b4. I thought black should have played queen to c7 or rook to c8 on the previous move, so that my knight on c3 would have been hanging in case of b4. Still, he can play queen c7 if he wants, but it's not the same anymore. I can sacrifice my knight on b5, for instance, and then take on a5. Those are options. I haven't calculated it. I'm just telling you what my thoughts are. So I think it was more precise to place one of the, either the rook or the queen on the c file. I was going to say one of the major pieces on the c file. So weird that I can't look at the other screen. I'm like, I'm keeping this weird angle. I'm looking at the empty space where my other screen used to be. So yeah, today I have no other screen. Knight back to c6. I can take on b5 twice and win a pawn. The b4 pawn is hanging too, so I should calculate whether I take on c6 first and then b5. But if I take on c6 first and then b5, the e4 pawn is hanging as well. This requires calculation, and calculation. I'm gonna take here because I don't have much time to calculate. I will go with my intuition. My intuition says that a takes b5 is the best move. Yeah, when you are under a minute, sometimes you should just rely on what you feel like should be the move. Oh, thank you, Benjamin. He's saying that he needs to watch more of my videos so that he understands this line better. Well, I don't claim that I have a very strong understanding of Sicilians in general. I just like variations with the bishop on c4 and the bishop on e2. These are my two main setups against the Najdorf, against the Scheveningen. In all sorts of Sicilians, basically, I go for bishop c4 or bishop e2. Now I can take on b5, he's going to take on b4. Or I can wait with that. Let's calculate a little. Bishop b3 is another option to offer the trade of rooks. I'm gonna go with this. And if knight takes b4, I'll play bishop b3. Ooh, I don't have time. I should take with this knight. I don't have time. Okay, I should really play much faster. If not, I'm gonna lose on time. I would pre-move if I was sure about knight takes b4, but I'm not sure. Okay, it was pretty obvious, but it wasn't the only move for black. Now, it's a mess. I think he should take. He did not take on a1. I'm gonna bring this here after he takes. And just annoy black a little bit. This should still be about equal, but I think white is very comfortable. I have more space. What is that? Have I missed something? I don't think so. Rook c8, I can move a queen. Knight takes c2 is a blunder in my opinion, but I don't have time to justify everything. I think everything is protected. So the b5 knight is protected. Rook c8, I can move the queen to b4. Of course, he should still play on. And I can mess up because I have many pieces that are weirdly placed. So, oh, Benjamin, don't give me all your pieces. I know that you're a very nice guy, but this is too nice. So I like free stuff. I always say on my Twitch channel that I like free stuff and I like gifts. My birthday is in November. But please don't give me so many free stuffs because you played very well until the point that you started sacrificing your pieces for no reason. I think knight takes c2, you blunder that I'm protecting the c2 pawn with the bishop. Is that correct? Or did you think that you have to go crazy about this position? I think you can still go back to c6 with the knight. I don't see a refutation of this move. I think everything is still protected. I wish I could bring my rook to the a file. That would be awesome. But that square is not protected, so there's no rook a1. That's my only piece that is missing from development and activity. If the rook could join on the a or b files, I think white should be very good here. It should be an advantage, but it's not so easy to bring the rook. If I go rook b1, it's still not the end of the world because I have two minor pieces blocking the path of my rook. So this position, I think it should still be roughly balanced. You have a very solid pawn structure. It's not easy to attack black because he has a very healthy pawn chain. I have more space, as I mentioned already earlier, and I have this c2 pawn, which I'm not sure is that good, basically. It's a file away from the rest of the squad, so it's an isolated pawn. You could call it a weakness, but it's very well hidden in my camp, protected by the b3 bishop. So I don't think c2 is a problem for me, but neither an advantage in my position. It's just as it is, has its pros and cons. Pros: I have the semi-open d file, I have the open b file and the open a file, but I need to place my rook there in order to use those files. I think this position would have still been interesting to play, and it's a pity that you gave me those free pieces. You forgot about the clock, Benjamin. I see your comment, and then you went crazy. I know, it happens to me all the time. Time pressure is the worst. I'm very bad at time pressure, and now I'm curious how I'm gonna do in Blitz and Bullet, because I'm going to Denmark this weekend. Actually, the event is on Friday. I don't know if you have seen on my social media. This is just to mention very briefly. If anyone is in Denmark on Friday in Copenhagen, I'm attending an event called the Copenhagen Chess Slam. And it's going to be, I think, a one-of-a-kind event. It's held in a nightclub. And I'm taking part of the Battle of Sexes. So I'm on the women's team with Maria Muzicuk, Grandmaster Maria Muzicuk, former women's world champion, and also Jansaya Abdumalik. She's a very strong player, very talented young player. So we are the three ladies on the women's team, and we have three opponents, three Danish male opponents in Blitz and Bullet over the board. And yeah, my Blitz skills are not the best. My Bullet is even worse. So wish me good luck. Wish me good luck. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a very interesting event, I believe. I've never played in a nightclub. Oh, thank you, Benjamin, for your kind comment. I'm gonna go for the next game. I hope that this has been instructive to watch. Any other comment before? I think you played very well earlier, so I don't really have any other tips on how you should have played earlier, because I think you played well. One moment where I thought that black could have played better was here, because b5 is tempting, and maybe it's still okay. So don't take my comment too seriously, but I think in general it's more natural to place the queen and the rook on the c file. Perhaps you should do it a move earlier, or still here. Yeah, maybe still here. Look, queen c7, and that prevents b4 because the knight on c3 will always be hanging. So if I want to do something about b4, I will need to protect this knight. Let's just make a clumsy move protecting the c3 knight, threatening b4. I'm not in time, because you can bring now your other rook to c8. So once I play b4, you can jump to c4 with your knight. If you have a good control of the c4 square, black should be more than fine in these positions. So that would be my tip, to place your queen or rook on the c file as soon as you can, maybe even before knight a5. You can play queen c7 first. It's a tricky move, because once you bring your rook to the c file as well, you are threatening knight takes d4 or any other knight jumps and the discovered attack. So I wouldn't go very direct with knight a5. Sometimes it can be knight b4, so you don't decide where you jump with your knight. It's more flexible to keep it on c6. Bring your queen and rook first to the c file, and then you can see where you place your knight and how you proceed. So yeah, these are my points on this game. Let's go for the next one, and thank you once again, Benjamin. Next game with increment, please. I promised earlier, wait a second, I shall find you, Selen. I promise you that I'm gonna accept your challenge if you challenge me with an increment, and so I keep my promises. Today I'm playing all games with the white pieces. Lovely. e4. As usual, now that even Aronian plays e4, I shall stick to my e4. What do you play as white? I'm asking you, my dear audience, here on Chess24 and on YouTube. Are you an e4, d4, or c4 player? Knight f3 maybe. The French defense! Salon is challenging me in my favorite opening of all times, and I'm facing my favorite defense. This is gonna be fun. I like to play the Tarrasch, just so that you know how to refute my own opening. It has no refutation. It's a brilliant opening. No, not really. The French is not perfect. Actually, there are several variations where I suffer as black, but I still like the opening. It doesn't matter that sometimes I'm worse. I think it's still an interesting opening, and black usually has counterplay. So I think you can play the French if you like it. If you don't like it, don't play the French. Please. Just play the openings that you feel like. You should play openings that fit your style, your playing style. Always play the London system. Oh yeah, the London. We studied the London with John Urschel on his channel. So maybe I could try that as well, from what I learned with John. C4 and G3, yeah, those are all good. I mean, basically any opening is good. As long as you are comfortable with your opening, just stick to it. Okay, actually, I don't know why I'm doing this. I could have played with f4 too, because my opponent didn't play f6. Normally in this variation of the Tarrasch, black challenges the center of white with an early f6. It's important in the French that you play c5 and f6 as soon as you can. If not, white is just more than fine with so much space and attack. So how can we attack? The h7 pawn is clearly the target. Can we take there now? Not really, because there's no knight g5. So I might think about another way of attacking it. That could be queen c2, very direct. Another way would be bishop c2, queen d3. Also direct, but I like it. It's threatening mate in one. So shall we go for that one or the other? If queen c2, black should play h6 or g6. I'm gonna go with bishop to c2. If he takes on d4, I take back with the pawn, knight b4, bishop back to b1. I need to keep this bishop alive. In the French, as white, your best piece, your best friend is your large squared bishop. Keep it alive forever until you give mate. If it's traded, your position is not that cool anymore. Nothing wrong with it, you're not gonna be losing, but your chances of attack without this light squared bishop are much less. So keep it alive as long as you can. You can maybe take a queen with it if you want to, but don't just give it up. For the sake of giving it up, queen d3, I'm threatening that h7 guy, as I told you. And now f5. This is logical. After f6, he can play, of course, f5. But it means that he cannot challenge my e5 pawn anymore with the f pawn. So I'm lucky. Lucky? No, happy. I don't know what I was going to say. Lucky, happy, both. I'm happy about it. But it also means that the position is now very closed. New target, e6 pawn, knight f4. He will move the knight away to protect the e6 pawn. So that I don't like that much. I'm gonna go with something not so usual. I feel like g3 and h4 is an interesting idea because I want to have a good grip of the g5 square. And I should play faster because once again I'm below a minute. So it doesn't really matter how perfect you play if you get into time trouble. And now I've spotted a good move for him. Taking on d4. Then I should take back... If I take back with the knight, the e5 pawn is hanging. If I take back with the pawn, he can play knight b4. I told you to keep the bishop alive, right? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I think c takes d4 is a good move for black here. And the reason is the following. I always want to take back on d4 with the pawn to keep my e5 pawn healthy. No, he didn't see it. So let's go a3. Now I'm covering the b4 square. In case of c takes d4, I'm going to go c takes d4. There's no knight b4 anymore. Whew! Now I can call myself lucky. It wasn't hanging a piece, it wasn't losing material, but still, I like to keep my bishop alive. Back to d1, I didn't have many squares for the queen, only 2 squares. He's grabbing space on the queen side. Let's grab space on the king side. I promised you at h4, and so I'm doing that. Bishop g5 could be next move. And why not? I'm developing, and I'm going to get rid of the bishop that's not so useful for me. This is my bad bishop in the French, and for black, the opposite. The dark squared bishop of black is the good bishop. If you look at the board, the c8 bishop is stuck behind black's pawn chain. That is the worst piece he has. So I'm not gonna trade the c8 bishop, I'm trading his other bishop. Very important that you think of pieces and trades this way, and you look at what do you want to see on the board. What shall stay on the board and what shall disappear from your pieces, and what shall stay from his pieces. So the light squared bishop stays forever and ever and ever. I can take on e7 now or later to keep the pressure, not keep the pressure. Does he want to go b4? Looks like. These are my thoughts. Sometimes it's a mess in my head, but these are my thoughts. I'm sure you have similar feelings about your games. You're not always sure what to do. I'm gonna go king g2 because I feel like in the future I wanna play h5, h6 as well. Or similar ideas. I want to attack on the king side. It's not so easy to prepare that attack actually. If b4 now, and so he plays it. Shall we take? Okay, I'm gonna take. Perhaps it's not the best move, but I'm taking it anyway. Can I take everything? Let's take everything. Let's see what he does after I take everything. He can take on c3 first. That would be a good idea. No, he doesn't. So I'm winning a pawn. I don't think I can keep this alive. Queen b7, winning back the pawn. But I'm opening up the position. Now I can, in case of queen b7, bring my rook to a1. He doesn't do that. That's interesting. Gonna go here and knight c3. Or queen b4. Ooh, queen b4 I like. But then rook b7. What is going on there? Wait a second. This is a bad move. I'm coming here. Look at that pin. He has to play rook a7, but then b6 and b7, not winning immediately, but it looks very promising. It looks very promising. Knight c6, and my rook is hanging. I should take on a6. What is that position? Knight b7, also possible. Well, maybe I missed something earlier because it looked like I should have had some tactics, but still it looks winning. Queen e7, those ideas, bishop a4. I said I would not trade that bishop, but if it's winning, then I'm gonna do it. Okay, I feel like this move should be winning. The bishop is hanging, the knight on d7 will be hanging. Black is just having no space. Everything is hanging, everything is falling apart. I'm taking here, taking on d5. Now this is a collapse of black's position. f5, d5, everything is hanging. Unless I blunder or lose on time, which is possible. It's still possible. I should be winning this game easily. So this is how the black position, how the French defense type of positions can collapse. Once you lose the e6 pawn, it's over. Because that's the pawn that was protecting everything. Everything. I'm gonna go for knight c7, threatening on e8 and the d7 knight. So I should be winning a piece by this point. Taking here, pre-moving the capture in case. And this is a piece up. Let's just not lose on time. Oh, I played king takes f3. And then he didn't make a move. I'm promoting this guy. Hello, queen. Nice to meet you. I won. Thank you, 7, for the game. Let's go through it because there wasn't much time to discuss variations or anything deep when I have no time. And it happens always. Does Anna ever have more time than her opponents on the clock? No. Easy question. Next, Tarrasch. So in the Tarrasch, I mean the main lines go with capturing here and f6, and there's a reason for this, why this is the main line. The reason is what I already mentioned. In the French defense, white has more space with the pawns on e5 and d4. You should challenge them. If you don't challenge them, white is gonna be very comfortable. You have more space for your pieces to maneuver, more piece activity behind those pawns, so it's a lot easier to play as white if you do not challenge white's center. After f6, it is a challenge because black is threatening to take on e5. If I take on f6, knight takes or queen takes, both are possible, and these are the main variations in the Tarrasch. So this is how it begins. It's not even the middle of the line, it's how it begins. But there's a reason for it, and I explained that you should challenge those pawns. It's possible to play with h6, b5, but it means that I am very comfortable behind my pawns. f6 is a good move. I think you found still the right moment to push f6, so Selon, I am going to congratulate you on pushing f6 there. If you didn't do that, let's say b5, this is what I wanted. Queen d3, threatening mate, and of course black doesn't blunder it, but if g6, I have bishop h6, I have gained something. You're weakening the dark squares. If you don't weaken that, then how do you prevent mate? h6 doesn't prevent mate. Ooh. And f5. In this position, it's not the same. I can take if I want. Knight takes f6, protects the h7 square, but this backward e6 pawn is a target. Knight g5, threatening on h7 again. This could have ended very, very badly soon for black. So I think you played better. I think f6 is a stronger move, which means that after queen d3, I cannot take f5. Now it's all closed. And that's another scenario. So whenever the pawn structure changes, you should reevaluate the position in your head. Now I'm not playing for the h7 pawn anymore. It's well hidden. I should have a new plan, and my new plan was to push h4. I cannot push h4 immediately because it's gonna be captured. I go h4 after pushing g3, and even when I reach that position, okay, no, sorry, I skip a very important moment. Pay attention to the opponent's threat. Telling myself now about this rule. This is my rule number 1, basically, in my master method. Even if I didn't name it rule number 1, it's very important. You gotta pay attention to what the opponent wants. After f5, queen d3 was a good move to provoke weaknesses in black's camp, but queen d3 steps into knight b4. Now obviously black cannot play knight b4 immediately, but he is threatening to capture on d4 after g3. C takes d4. Now my normal response to c takes d4 is to take back with the c pawn. But I cannot do it here. I mean, I have to, but I don't want to. Knight b4 attacking both my queen and the bishop. And as I said, it's not a disaster. You might think I'm exaggerating this position, but I want that bishop alive. I don't want to give it to black. So this is certainly something I did not want. Still, the position is okay. It's no trouble for white. But once you give up that bishop, you're also giving up on your hopes of attack. So, no, me not liking it. I shouldn't have played g3 immediately. It's a good plan, but I should have paid attention to my opponent's idea. First, knight b4 is a threat. I have to protect the b4 square, a3, so that I can take back on d4 with the pawn. Now, why I can't take back on d4 with something else than a pawn? Because of the e5 pawn. And that's the reason why c takes d4 is almost always the response. If I take with the knight, look at that e5 pawn. Adios. So this is how easily white's center can collapse. Easy for white, easy for black. Once you lose one of your pawns in the center, d4 or e6, the rest collapses too. So, g3, mistake. Rook e8, mistake. a3, we are back in the game. c4, b5, I think these are all good. You played very well this part, Selon, expanding on the queen side. That's why you should be playing, pushing b4. Maybe you could wait a little bit. You could prepare it with ideas like, I was going to suggest taking, but I don't like it anymore because I could take back with the pawn, open the h5 for my rooks. Oh, that looks too dangerous. Don't do that. So if you don't take on g5, you can try to force me take on e7, because after the capture on e7, you're supporting your b4 push. The queen is also protecting the b4 square, plus you have managed to connect your rooks. Whoa, it's a win-win. b4 next move, and once I take on a8, you can take back with the rook. Everything is fine in black's position, except for the d7 bishop, but you have so much space and you are attacking. It is black who has the initiative right now, pushing b4. I think this position is just very, very nice for black. I don't think it's an advantage for anyone. It should be roughly equal, but you've got the upper hand, b4. h6 I think is a good move. Normally I wouldn't tie you to push your pawns on the wing where white wants to break through, but the h4 and g3 pawns are not about to go for any pawn storm, so you're fine. h6 and then b4. Even b4 immediately shouldn't be that bad, because after c takes b4, you can win the pawn back. I think you should play queen b7 and just get that pawn back immediately. Next move, queen takes b4 or knight takes b4 and you're fine. Yeah, I have the a file. Well, it's not the end of the world. Knight takes b4 and just tell me how I win this. Maybe black is better here. Why not, actually? You have a better pawn structure. My b2 pawn is a target in the future. So get that pawn back immediately. If not, I'm gonna push it. And that's the pawn that won the game for me. b5. And here, I think doesn't matter what you do. White is better. Queen b4, next move, attacking the rook, supporting the pawn. Knight c3. This position should be lost already, even if not immediately. So I have this pin, b6, rook a6. Of course, for a moment I looked at b7, but it's not winning because of knight takes b7. You just want to make sure that you double check forcing moves, even when you don't have much time. Knight b7. I was telling you guys that if knight c6, rook takes a6, so I'm not losing the rook because both queens are hanging. Knight b7 is the game, but no, this position cannot be defended. Even if you don't blunder with knight d7, I'm threatening queen e7 anyway, or bishop a4, or knight g5. Many moves. Yeah, queen e7, knight g5, or bishop a4. Told you I wouldn't trade that bishop, but if it's winning, I will. Because after even positionally, let's just say positionally playing bishop a4, let's trade this. Normally I wouldn't want to, but I have a b passed pawn, so it's a completely different scenario. Forget everything I told you about this game earlier, because now the main focus is the b pawn. And there's this piece on b7, the blockading piece. So my objective, my new objective in this game should be to get rid of the blockading piece. That's why I play bishop a4, to bring my knight to a4, and next move can be knight c5, for instance. King f7, knight c5, just to demonstrate the idea. And now it's a problem already. You have to take it. I can either connect my pawns and have connected passed pawns, or take with the queen, and that will support my pawn too. Queen c7, b7, and I'm gonna be promoting the pawn. You can still try to defend, of course, but these positions, ooh, I wouldn't put much money on black surviving here. Perhaps this isn't even the most precise. I'm just showing you that there are many ways of playing these positions, either an endgame approach, or you can play, for instance, after h6, queen e7 could be the most aggressive and best. If it wins, then it wins. I don't know exactly how it wins though, so yeah, it's an aggressive move, but I don't see the follow-up. Anyway, with the pawn on b6, white should be winning with many different ideas. Don't give me an extra pawn, and if you give it to me, then get it back as soon as you can. That's my advice. Get the pawn back. On b4 you could still get it back. It wasn't a blunder. I take on b4, queen b7, and you're fine. Really, I think black is fine here. So yeah, that's my analysis of the game. Let's go for the next one. I think I can play 2 more games with this speed, but I hope that you find it instructive. So today is more about learning together and not playing so many games. I mean, I don't do it on purpose, but I want you to learn as much as possible. So I wish I could do both. I wish I could play a lot and analyze a lot, but we have limited time, you know? So, Erno der ice bear. Erno, the polar bear, is dead. Ice bear sounds like polar bear. And I have the black pieces, so you know what's coming, right? The French defense! Thank you, Salan. I'm glad that it was helpful. By the way, how you can see my mug? It's not new, but it's my favorite mug. I got it from my best friend, as you can see, from Sopico. This is our Miss Strategy, Miss Tactics mug. I'm thinking of launching merge. Not right now, because I'm still building an escape room, so I can't do everything at the same time. But I think in a few months, I should be launching merch. So what do you guys think about this mug? Maybe not exactly the same, because this is a one of a kind. I got it from Sopico. But a Miss Strategy, Miss Tactics mug, what do you think about that? This is an unofficial poll on knowing your idea and your opinion on how would you feel about Anna merch. Okay, so he takes on d5 now. Usually, if you like playing with the isolated pawn, you can go e takes d5. If you don't like it, I don't like it, then you take with the queen. Yeah, Sopiko would do very well in the Blitz tournament. Benjamin, a detective lion mug. Ordering it already. Ordering it already. Yeah, just let me know about your ideas, guys. Yeah, I am building an escape room. I have been building the escape room for quite a while already. Couple of months. Actually, the whole project started last summer, so I've been working on it with Joaquin for a year. Since the first idea to finding a place to rent. King E2, what on earth? Sorry, I gotta stop talking about the escape room because what? Erno, you might be a polar bear, but King E2, what? Is that a mouse slip? Is it Queen E2 that you wanted to play? Did you want to castle? I mean, I'm not winning on the spot immediately. Wait! No! What am I... Now I understand it. We are playing a non-standard chess. There's no... You challenged me for a type of chess without castling. I didn't know it. Now this is unfair. Erno, I didn't know we are playing no castle chess. What am I supposed to do now? Oh shoot. How? I thought it was a normal challenge. It's not a mouse slip. Erno knows that he cannot castle. He's castling rook e1, king f1. We are playing a variant of chess which is no castling. So I cannot castle. This is so annoying. I cannot do the same as him. Whoa. I'm gonna get into trouble if I don't find a way to castle. Shoot. Erno, you are very tricky. I didn't know we are playing this type of chess. Oh my. It's funny. Yeah, I agree. It's funny. I know. But the challenge was the same. It didn't say anything. I swear it didn't say anything about a different variant. At least I'm getting the bishop. So I achieved something that I like achieving in the French. Get the light squared bishop. I can't castle, but hey, I have the bishop. So cool. Okay, how to keep my king alive? I can go king f8, g6, king g7. You gotta be creative. But if I go king f8, g6 and white moves the knight, which is what he is doing right now, then the problem is the bishop is going to land on h6 and I cannot accomplish my castling. Oh man. Me not liking it. My position would be great if I could castle. You know, castling is so important. But I can't. I can't. King f8, g6, bishop h6. He's gonna play. And I cannot go to g7 with my king. I should try, maybe. King f8, king g8, h6, king h7. But looks so slow. And he's threatening bishop c5. So let's just protect that c5 square. Or rook c8 would have been more natural, but then the a7 pawn... No, it was not hanging. Bishop takes a7, b6. I could have played rook c8. Still, b6 should be okay. If I could castle. Yeah, Dr. Paradoxon should do that against Jan. I agree. Any of you, please do this to Jan as well, because I didn't know that you can challenge us with this chess variant without us realizing it. So I was not warned. At least I didn't see any difference in this challenge and the rest of the challenges. You know what you should do when you cannot castle, right? I mean, when your king is in the middle of the board, normally it means trade pieces, because what position would this e8 king feel comfortable with? An endgame. In an endgame, I'm more than fine. So let's go and trade pieces. That is my advice. Get rid of as many pieces as possible. Also, if he takes on c8, bishop takes c8, bishop a6, I'm targeting his weakness. His weakness is the d3 pawn, if you haven't realized. It's isolated, it's weak, it's alone, it's just a bad pawn. He can push it to d4, normally, but not after bishop a6. I'm pinning that pawn, threatening to win the queen with bishop d3. He has to play rook d1, and there I could wish for castle. That would be a brilliant move. Rook d1, castle, then bring my rook to d8 or c8, but that's in my dreams. Forget about castling, Anna. Maybe king d7 I could play next move. What do you think? What do you guys think about rook d1, King d7. Best king in the world. Yeah! I can bring my rook at last, so I have a very active king. I don't like where the king is, so white could go for something like bishop d4, knight e5, but by the time the knight lands on e5, I will at least move my rook away from h8. I need to develop that rook. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Erno, you tricked me, but you didn't trick me too much. I can still castle. Well, or at least develop my rook. It's almost like castling. Because that's the point of castling, right? King safety and developing the rook. I wasn't joking, it's a different variant of chess, guys. I see the comments now in the chat. Whoa, whoa, rook c8, he's threatening queen a6. How tricky of you, Erno. He's threatening to win my bishop. Rook c8, queen a4, b5. I defends the bishop, but knight takes b5. No, that's not good. Okay, don't panic, Anna. b5 now. I don't like it. Maybe I have to play it? I think I have to play it to prevent the check. I cannot allow queen a4 check. Yeah, there, Henker, you are right. Knight bd4 was a good move. And I don't like that I had to play b5 because it blocks my bishop. But you gotta do what you have to do. I need to keep my king safe. Rook c8, next move. So, rook c1 is logical, but it does not prevent rook c8. And we are trading more pieces. Haha. My king will be very active on d7. Imagine an endgame with pair of bishops, just a minor piece endgame. I would love to play a minor piece endgame. Go for that rook trade, go for that queen trade, and I will be better because his pawn on d3 is weak and I have the pair of bishops. In an endgame, the pair of bishops can be very dangerous, especially if they have diagonals, if the position is not very closed, because you know that bishops love open positions, or semi-open positions at least, which is this case. This is not a closed position. The queen will move. I'm gonna take on c1 probably. Depends on where he moves the queen though. Where shall he move the queen? If he wants to take back on c1 with the queen, he has to play queen d1 or queen d2. If he plays queen b3, I'll take on c1 and he has to go bishop takes c1, which is not very good for him. Can't be very good for him. How to attack the d3 pawn? In the future, I would like to chase the d4 knight away, or play b4, or both. Shall I take and then move the queen to the c file? Possible. Or queen b4, but that allows knight e5 check. Let's think a little. I'm gonna take once because I'm happy with the either queen c7 now or a bit later. I can play knight d5 first. For instance, will he go knight b3? Such ideas. Let's go knight d5. I like that move. So I could play queen c7 immediately, but I'm not in a rush, I believe. I prevented bishop b4, bishop f4, sorry, and I'm threatening to take on e3 if I want to. So for instance, knight b3, threatening knight c5 check, or bishop c5, I'm gonna take on e3 first. And I'm gonna be happy about that position. I feel like I'm happy about those trades. I can take on e3 anytime, so I'm not gonna do that very quickly. I'm just improving my position little by little. Bishop f6, knight g5. Am I scared of knight g5 a little? Yeah, I will play h6 because I'm not sure I want that knight to appear on g5. It would have attacked both the h7 and the f7 pawns. b3, weakening the c3 square in my opinion. I can play queen a3 and such, but I want to play bishop f6. I'm protecting the e5 square, attacking the d4 knight. Not threatening anything direct just yet, but in the future, b4, look at my knight. I'm heading to c3. Also, I'm opening up the diagonal of the bishop. Knight c3 check as announced. and he's getting into trouble. e5, I can play immediately, I believe. I don't have time, but I'm winning. So, conclusion, I'm winning a piece. Or giving mate. Giving mate. It's always better to give mate. I had mate on both king moves. King e1, queen d1, or king c1, still queen d1. Now this was a good game, I think, for a while. It was very interesting. Polar bear. Polar bear, Erno, you tricked me. First of all, how do you challenge me for a game with no castling and me not seeing that it was a chess variant? I had no idea. So if I had known that I cannot castle, I'm not sure I would have played the French defense. The French defense is not the best no castle opening, I believe. If you know that you cannot castle, you should think about how you're gonna castle. Bring the king to f7 or e7 and bring your rook out, then drop back to f8 with the king. So no, the French defense is not the best for that. I don't even know if it makes so much sense to analyze this game. Maybe not the beginning, because without castling, what can I teach you? Normally you don't play without castling. So let's just see the middle game. Here, let's suppose I can't castle because my king has received a check and I went back to e8. I don't even know how to explain that I can't castle. I can't castle, right? Just accept it. This position, I think, is very comfortable for black because the d3 pawn is weak. I'm putting a lot of pressure on that d3 pawn. And after king d7, yeah, finally! My rook can come out of h8. Knight d4 is a strong move. If I play rook c8, this was a critical moment. Queen a4 check wins a piece or at least a pawn after b5. I need to play b5 to protect the bishop. Knight takes b5. Queen c6 trying to win a piece, but knight c3 does not lose the piece. So yeah, this was not working for me. I have to play b5. I cannot allow queen a4 even if it doesn't win a piece. So you realize the threat. Pay attention to the opponent's threats all the time. This time I did. But if I play bishop b7 to prevent the loss of my bishop, this check is still extremely annoying because I have to go back to the back rank without having moved my rook away. Plus the a7 pawn falls. So bad. Bad. I need to protect the a4 square. b5 is therefore a good move even if it blocks my bishop. Temporarily. Trading rooks and such, I was telling you that we could go for a minor piece endgame. I still believe that we can, but why be in a rush? I can play this move anytime. Knight d5 I think is stronger. Attacking his bishop, I can take the bishop anytime I want, or simply enjoy my knight on d5. And h6, because I just thought that in some positions, for instance bishop f6, knight g5, maybe he's getting into trouble because also the h2 pawn is hanging, but this is a mess. I mean, I don't like entering complications when it's unnecessary, and here I feel like black's position is better simply because of positional factors. The d3 pawn is weak and I have the pair of bishops. So why complicate my life by entering a mess when I can just play h6, prevent knight g5 forever, and then I'm gonna play bishop f6. You should be very patient in these kind of positions. The d3 pawn as a weakness does not going to disappear if you have a permanent advantage, a permanent positional advantage, which is the pair of bishops and this weak pawn chain, at least the weak d3 pawn. They are not going to disappear anytime soon. It's not like having the initiative with a winning attack against your opponent's king. Then you are in a rush. But here, patience is the total opposite of the aggressive attacking style when you sacrifice and you need to justify your sacrifice. If you don't do it, you are just a piece down. So yeah, there you need to be in a rush, but not here. Patience in these type of positional advantage type of positions. I said position twice, but I don't care because I mean that when you have a strategic advantage like this, be patient, very patient, and just improve your position step by step. One of the greatest world champions and masters of this style of chess is Karpov. So if you want to learn more about this style, go and check some of his games, some of his best games. You can take the book, Karpov's Best Games, annotated by Karpov, and then you can learn how to squeeze out advantage of these tiny advantages, build them up step by step. Also, Magnus Carlsen does this a lot. So yeah, follow the Singfield Cup. H6 and such. Here I'm just better. I think b3 is a mistake because it weakens the c3 square, but on the long run, I think white is suffering, even if you don't give me the c3 square. I mean, b3, yeah, you shouldn't play it, but if you don't do it, I still think it's very difficult for white to play. White does not have an attacking plan. There's no counter attack. I'm gonna play bishop f6, b4, trade queens if I want to, or just play e5 in the right moment, attack the d3 pawn, b4, opening up the diagonal, then e5 is a threat. It's really unpleasant to play this as white, so I don't blame you for playing b3. It's not easy to make a move for white. Yeah, so that was the game. I think I have time for one last game, so let's go for one last game. A 3 plus something. I'm gonna go for Dr. Paradoxon's challenge. Hopefully it's not without castling, because I have no idea. Oh, wait a second, I saw some random challenges. Is this a random challenge? Can I castle or can I not castle? How do I know it? I mean, how? The Nimsovich defense. Sometimes I do play it as white, so it's interesting. It's an interesting opening. Actually, I don't remember what was the best line against this. Maybe I'm not even doing the best. No, it's like a Scandinavian. Yeah, I totally went into something that's not so... No, it's not challenging at all, is it? How is this line? Knight c3, bishop b4, taking on e5. I used to know this because I used to play this as black. Now I don't remember a thing about it. Honestly, I don't remember. Haha, that's the worst when you know something and then you forget it. There's no worse feeling than that. If I take on e5, he's gonna take on d1, and it's a pawn up for white, but it's not forever. I don't like those type of positions, so I wouldn't go for that. Let's go knight c3, bishop b4. And here, what was the move here? I can go for the endgame now. Does it change a thing? Not really. Bishop d2. Oh yeah, that was this line with bishop d2. Now I remember something. Finally, Anna can recall something that she used to know. I have games like this. I played this as black. I have games like this and I don't remember my own games. You know, that's how my memory works. I'm very bad at remembering things. Very bad at remembering. Luckily, my position and understanding saves me most of the games, but if it was about remembering lines, I would have never become an international master. I don't remember things, really, seriously. My memory has always been the worst. Like in history, when I got the best grades in most subjects, but history, even though I love history, it's one of my favorite subjects, I could never remember dates. So I know the stories, but I don't know when they happened. I could say, well, roughly in the 19th century, mid-19th century and such, and I would recall the names and the story perfectly fine, but without knowing the year and when things happened. So that's how my memory works. It's same about openings. I'm gonna castle and enjoy my pair of bishops. c4 is a move I'm looking at. I know I promised to talk about chess, but this is the last game, so apologies if this time I started giving a lecture on history. I mean lecture, just telling you what I know and what I don't know. It's mainly about what I don't know. a5, c4, knight b4, a3, knight c6, knight, bishop c3. What's that position like? Maybe I'm gonna go a3 first. Just protecting the b4 square. I don't have much time. That is a fact. The knight on f4 is nice, but it's not forever. I can play bishop e3 or g3. Let's develop a little bit. Bishop to g2 next. Am I stepping into bishop g4 and such? Maybe. And yeah, this trade is possible because once I take on d3, he's gonna take on c4. But hey, give me a second. Shall I play b3? Then bishop f5. Yeah, I should take on d3. Once he takes on c4, I'm gonna go rook c3. And the c7 pawn is a target. Bishop d5. to save the pawn by attacking my rook. I'll play rook d1. Oh, b5. I'm gonna go b3. Bishop d5, rook d1. We are playing a position with opposite colored bishops where my rooks are more active. They are going to be more active. One is on the c file attacking the c7 pawn. The other is on the d file. So white should be better. The b3 pawn is weak, so the moment I take on c7, he can take on b3. And he's protecting now his bishop. So I don't think this is much of an advantage, if any, if I have any advantage. But I will try to claim that I have something. Playing king b2 to protect my b3 pawn. He's playing well. I think h5 is a good move. Just making sure that I cannot expand on the king side further with g4, f5. Ooh, have I missed this? Yeah, but it's not the end of the world, hopefully. I'm not sure about rook c5. I think maybe I needed a square for my bishop. So I'm not that happy about my choice. I can come back to c3 now. Yes, this isn't anything for white. Maybe it can even be worse if he doubles rooks on the b file. So, all in all, I'm not happy about my play. Should have played this somewhat better. But with the bishop on d6, I'm controlling the b8 square. So that's something. That's something. He can play rook a7, rook b7 to double rooks on the b file. I don't have time, as usual. If it's only about the b3 pawn, I can double rooks on the third rank. Rook d3, rook e3, just so that it's not on a light square. So he's doing that. I'm gonna go here, rook b7, rook e3. It's very equal-ish, drawish. Black has the initiative. Black is attacking, but it's only one weakness. So as long as I only have one weakness, he can't do anything. I shouldn't blunder. That's the thing. Maybe I should have played rook c5, because why I'm going back to d3, actually? It has there's no point. Let's pre-move this. Maybe do I want to take with the pawn? No. It's a passed pawn, but I wasn't happy about it. I rather open the e5 for my rook. This position is still quite boring, to be honest with you guys. I can go to c5 with the bishop. If he moves away from the b file, rook e7 is an idea, so that we can trade. It's difficult to create anything in this type of positions. Let's trade one rook, just for fun. Rook takes c5! He can win a piece. No, rook takes c5, rook takes f7! Whoa, look at the tactics! Oh, what is this? I don't know what's happening, but I don't have time, so I'm not gonna think. Am I getting mated somewhere? Certainly he wants to give mate. Oh, am I getting mated? I hope not. Oh, I'm getting mated! No! This is horrible. I should have played bishop b4. That's still bad. Bishop takes b3 or 8 takes b4. 8 takes b3 or bishop takes b3. Oh no, I'm lost. I'm lost. I will resign. Okay, at first I take this and then I resign. It's lost. Well played, Dr. Paradoxon. You tricked me. I'm gonna resign. No, I lost some time, but I would have resigned. This is not by flagging. I was going to resign if I could have clicked on resign fast enough. Very well played. I'm impressed because I thought that this position was really boring. I was claiming it's boring. And I still think it is boring, but you managed to create a beautiful attack. I completely missed the idea that once the rook lands on d2, you are threatening a4. And that's a brilliant idea, because once black plays a4, like in the game, he doesn't even take on h2, he doesn't need that pawn. a4, I'm lost. Just like this, immediately. I cannot take with the king because of rook a2 mate. Whoa! I can't take with the pawn either because of rook a2 mate. Again. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And once the rook is on d2, I don't think I have a defense. Maybe, in hindsight, I should at least prevent a4. So, with rook a7, I can prevent the push. But on the long run, I don't believe that this can be defended, the position. You can take on h2, for instance, to be a pawn up. You can also, in the future, take on b3. And when I take back with the rook, you will take my bishop. So there's so many ways in which black is going to win a pawn or two. In worst case, if there's no mate. After rook a7, I don't think there's mate, but whoa, this position is horrible for me. So very well played, Dr. Paradoxon. I should have seen this coming after bishop f7, and of course I want to play rook d3, but I can't because my bishop on c5 is hanging, so there's no way of challenging the rook on the d file. Very well played, pointing out the weakness of the king on a3. Kudos to you, well done. If there was bishop a3 against... Oh, okay, it was not mate. Sorry, I didn't see. But yeah, I'm sure that black is still winning, but let's just have a look at it before I say goodbye to you guys. a4, king takes a4. Okay, I didn't realize what I should have, that this is not mate because I have bishop a3. But I don't think that I'm gonna survive here. It doesn't look like a position where you can survive. What if, for instance, just rook b6 or rook b8, threatening rook a6, winning a bishop? I can't take on c6 because of either bishop e8 or bishop takes b3, winning material. So no, I don't think that I can survive here. I'm 99.9% sure that white is lost. So no. Even if I don't get mated immediately, this has to be. This is horrible. This is horrible. That's what my intuition says. No need to calculate sometimes if you just know that it's plain bad. So very well played. First f6, opening the d file, and then moving there. If I had realized this, then I wouldn't have played bishop d6. I should just stay quiet. I should keep my bishop on e5 because that's where it's protected. I could play just the usual rook d3, rook d7, rook e3. If the bishop moves away, I come to d3. So in this way I would have been okay. Actually, the c6 pawn is hanging, so well, no. Do I want to play this? And it's better than the game. Without the pawn on c6, the rook on b5 is not protected, so I don't think I get mated. But yeah, in general, I didn't see the idea that the rook can come to d2. If I had seen it, I would have kept my bishop on e5, safe and sound, and just stay on the d file. Keep an eye on the d file and not let black enter. That's the only open file he can use, and I let him use it, so it's on me that I lost. Very well played, Dr. Paradoxon. I hope that you guys had fun, and also that you have found this session, today's session, instructive, because that was the point. I was trying to explain as many things as possible, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. In the meantime, have a lovely week and enjoy the broadcast of the Sinkfield Cup. I will see you next time. Bye bye.